Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 2. This week we'll cover chapter 1, Introduction to Wellness, Fitness, and Lifestyle Management. So looking ahead, you will be able to describe dimension of wellness. There's 9 of them. Identify major health and lifestyle problems in the United States today. Describe the behaviors that are part of wellness lifestyle. Explain steps in creating behavior management plan, and evaluate some of the available sources of wellness information. So let's first start with the difference between health and wellness. So health is the absence of illness or injury. So you're not in a hospital or you're not dealing with a broken arm. So that's health. And wellness is the optimum health. So you're able to do all the activities you possibly could want to without any issues. Risk factor is the condition that increases one chances of disease or injury. So let's talk about the dimensions of wellness. There's 9 of them. So first there's physical, emotional, intellectual, interpersonal, cultural, spiritual, environmental, financial, and occupational. And we will go further into each one. So physical wellness, this is your fitness level and ability to take care of yourself. So you might be able to enjoy your life day to day, but if you're not able to perform walking for longer than, let's say, 20 minutes, maybe you're not as physically well as you might think you are. Emotional wellness, this is your resilience. So, are you able to deal with your feelings throughout the semester, throughout your life? Intellectual wellness is your ability to stay active within learning new concepts, enjoying um, getting new skills, and etc. Interpersonal wellness is dealing with relationships. So, do you have good, supportive friends, family members? Interpersonal wellness is very important for our overall wellness because we need a sense of belongingness. Cultural wellness, are you able to accept people from other cultures and their values and the things that they celebrate without an issue? Spiritual wellness does not always mean religion. It could mean religion, but it's based on what are your guiding beliefs, principles, values. So, what really gives you meaning and purpose in your life? Environmental wellness is, are you able to understand what is happening in your surroundings, the health of the planet? So, currently, a big debate is global warming. Are you able to see what is wrong in your community, and etc.? Financial wellness is your financial stability. So, are you able to live within your means without credit card debt? And are you able to manage your money in uh, organized order? Occupational wellness is your fulfillment at work. So, physical wellness is eating well, exercising, avoiding harmful habits, practicing safer sex, recognizing symptoms of disease, getting regular checkups, and avoiding injuries. So, this is important to think about when you're working on your SMART goals because physical wellness is one of the categories. Emotional wellness, are you optimistic about day to day life? Do you have trust in relationships? Do you have high self esteem, self acceptance, self confidence? Are you able to understand and accept others' feelings and ability to share feelings with others? So, emotional wellness will be also on your SMART goals. Intellectual wellness, do you have curiosity about life? Interpersonal, do you have good communication skills? Cultural wellness, are you able to maintain and value your own cultural identity and others? Spiritual wellness is compassion, forgiveness, joy, and fulfillment. Environmental wellness, having an abundant, clean, natural resources, which is evident in Michigan in comparison to where I'm from in Houston. There's not as many parks and clean parks and etc. Financial wellness is having the basic understanding of how money works. Occupational wellness, do you enjoy your work? It might not be every single day, but overall in a week, is there more pros than cons to your job in relation to your mental health? So, new opportunities for taking charge. In comparison to 1850, our life expectancy has almost doubled. Before we had 38 to 40 years, and now we're at 78.6. So, life has definitely improved for us in comparison to 1850s. As you can see, life expectancy in 1900s was 47.3. And that's because there were so many childhood diseases and etc. Then jump to 1950s, we have motor vehicle safety. So we're trying to figure out the roads and do we need seat belts? And then jumping to 2017, we're trying to decline heart disease and stroke. So the difference between quantity of life and quality of life. Quantity is just how many years do people live before they die. So somebody might live 80 years, but they were sick for 40. So that's just the quantity of life. Quality of life is how many of those years that you live are healthy. So in this example, 70.2 years are healthy, and then 8.4 years are unhealthy. So in so that's where we get our 78.6 life expectancy. So of course, different diseases have emerged in our health in comparison to other decades, such as heart disease, cancer, and other chronic diseases that began primarily in 1970s linked to obesity. Chronic diseases are and those that develop and continue over a long period of time, so such as typhoid cancer, late stages of diseases, maybe breast cancer, colon cancer, things that progress. And then lifestyle choices are conscious behaviors that can either increase or decrease person's risk of disease or injury. So those are such as smoking, alcohol consumption, exercise, eating a healthy diet. So now we'll look into the causes of death in the United States in 2017. So a major one is heart disease, then cancer, accidents that are unintentional injuries, chronic lower respiratory diseases, stroke, Alzheimer's, diabetes, influenza, kidney, and intentional self-harm, so such as suicide, which are different from different countries. So this is just looking at the United States. For example, from the country that I am from in Russia, the top three leading causes of death are ischemic heart disease. So ischemic means the heart does not receive enough blood, and then stroke and Alzheimer's. And those differ for each country, of course, and depending on what kind of healthcare the country has and etc. But in this class, we'll be focusing on the United States. So key contributors in death among Americans is tobacco, diet, activity patterns, so a lot of sedentary behavior, microbial agents, alcohol consumption, illicit drug use, motor vehicles, and firearms, and sexual behavior, unhealthy sexual behavior. So these, for most of them, are preventable, and you need to, if you um, fear of any diseases or whatever, and you're trying to make sure that you're well because there's something in your family, these things that you could eliminate could help maybe even prevent or postpone the disease that might be in your family. So, leading causes of death among 15 to 24-year-olds in 2017 or unintentional injuries. So just a lot of accidents. Maybe they fell um, from a tree or a window, and then motor vehicle accidents, poisoning, suicide, homicide, cancer, and heart disease. So that's for people aged 15 to 24. Wellness is a personal concern, but also the government does have positives and negatives if their population is unhealthy. So a healthy population in the nations is leads to vitality, creativity, and wealth. And then in poor health nations, there's a lot of resources that get used up on unhealthy population and a lot of healthcare costs. So in America, we have Affordable Care Act, which was signed into law in 2010. It does remain still, but some provisions have been made. And then ACA established health exchanges to facilitate purchase of insurance. So there's an open market that you can purchase your health insurance from, and then also health insurance that is provided by your employers. Benefits for college students. So if you're in college and you're under parents' health insurance, you're good until the age of 26. And then also students whose parents don't have health insurance but want to gain health insurance. If your family or you earn below 16,000 for a single person, 33 for a family in Michigan, are qualified for Medicaid. So each year, we're trying to get closer to our goals. So in Healthy People 2020, we haven't reached our goals that we set out 10 years ago. Now we're planning for 10 more years in Healthy People 2030. So we're trying to eliminate preventable diseases. We're trying to achieve health equity, eliminate disparities, and improve health literacy, create social, economic, physical environments that promote good health for all. So, for example, in Michigan, there's a lot of parks that you can go to and be active, and many people are active in Michigan in comparison to where I lived in Houston. A lot of people are not very outdoorsy and don't go to parks and stuff like that. And then we also try to engage leadership and to make sure that we have effective health policies for all. So our target for 2020 was that we wanted to increase health insurance. As you can see, in 2008, we were at 83.2. Then 2016 to 17, we were at 89.3. And our target was, for 2020 was 100%, which is not met because many people have lost their employment and hence their health insurance and due to COVID. And so now we're just trying to make sure that as many people as possible have health insurance, and hopefully we can improve it in 2030. So, behaviors that contribute to wellness. So, we have physical fitness and sedentary behaviors. Physical fitness is that you're moving your body's able to adapt to any stresses in your environment physically, and sedentary is like you're sitting. And many people in this decade are very much sedentary because our careers have become very sedentary in comparison to careers 100 years ago. But you're able to still be in charge of your wellness by avoiding sedentary behaviors outside of work. So, really quickly, let's cover benefits of regular physical activity. So, there's positives and there's also things that physical activity reduces. So, Things that are improved is more energy, improved body composition, increased endurance. So if you are a runner or a biker or swimmer, you're able to go for longer. Some things that physical activity reduces is dying prematurely of any cause, reduces risk of developing or dying from heart disease, dying from diabetes, high blood pressure, colon cancer, becoming obese, which in its way creates a lot of health issues. In addition to being physically active, choosing a healthy diet is important, maintaining a healthy body weight, managing stress effectively, avoiding drugs and alcohol, and protecting yourself from diseases or injury. Taking steps toward wellness. So, you need to have meaningful relationships. So, you need somebody who is there for you in case that you're not well or you need help with staying on target for your wellness. You need to plan for successful aging. So, a lot of the times that is financial stability. So, how are you going to take care of yourself after you're no longer working? Learn about healthcare systems. So, what type of things are available to you currently, and what things could be available to you later on, and act responsibly toward the environment. So, of course, your genetics and your environment make a have a big part of your wellness. So maybe you have something in your um, genetics that there's a disease, and maybe you live in an environment that there's not a lot of grocery stores, or maybe you're not able to purchase um, food, or maybe you don't live in a safe housing, or maybe you don't have healthcare. All of that does impact your overall wellness. Um, but behavior can impact that. So maybe you are very sedentary and you have a genetic predisposition for diabetes. And you're lacking adequate healthcare, but maybe you are exercising and you are trying to eat well. It could prevent or postpone the disease that it might be in your family. So, in college students, there's a lot that you're going through, and productivity is very important. So, cause of stress or other physical and emotional health problems do impact your productivity, but maybe you need to improve your time management, and maybe you need to eat um, healthier foods and try maybe exercise. It doesn't even have to be in the gym, it could just be walking around campus for longer than 10 minutes. It counts in towards your 150 minutes of light intensity, or if you're going to run campus, 75 minutes of exercise per week is the goal for each person. So, behavior change. This is a lifestyle management process that involves cultivating healthy behaviors and working to overcome unhealthy behaviors. I'm sure everybody is has some healthy and unhealthy, because this is a lifelong situation where you're trying to work through. Before you can change, you need to know what the problem is. Think about your problem, talk with friends and family, and that could be unbiased. And also, you can track your behavior, your health, and your fitness through digital trackers, which we will use two wellness apps in this course. So you have to choose a target behavior, which is an isolated behavior selected as the object or behavior change program. Your chances of success are great if your first goal is very simple. So, for example, if I'm going to run a marathon, My first goal is to run a mile if I haven't ran in a while, and then I might run 2 miles. So for a target behavior, you need to see how that target behavior affects your level of wellness. So might want to run the marathon, but it might not overall be healthy for me in other regards because I will have to eliminate things that impact my health in order to get in the miles that week. So you have to have pros and cons of change. So health behaviors have both short-term and long-term benefits and costs. To be successful, you must believe that the benefits of change outweigh the costs. We will talk about a progression later on. Most people are more likely to be motivated by shorter terms versus longer goals that you might have, and then they need to be very much um, suited to you because you might have the same goal as somebody else in the class, but what type of consequences and reinforcements matter different for each person. And then overall, small differences do add up. So, in building motivation, you need self efficacy. So, you need to believe in yourself that you're able to um, stay with the behavior change and you're able to do the small tasks and build onto it. So, self efficacy is really just your belief in yourself. Locus of control. So, who is in charge? So, are you in charge or the environment in charge? Society is in charge of your change. Self talk. You always, some people use self talk more than others. So, this is just reassuring yourself, yes, you can do it. No worries if you made a mistake. You can always change that. So you have to identify and overcome barriers to change. There will be barriers, especially when you're changing something that has been part of your life for a long time. So you just have to be practical about how you're going to overcome barriers. So you need to enhance your readiness to change. So there's different stages of changes that we're going to talk about. So pre-contemplation, you have no need to change your behavior. So for example, let's use smoking. You have no intention of quitting smoking. You don't really care. You haven't thought about it. Contemplation is when you're thinking, maybe I want to stop smoking it by the end of the year. So it has to be within 6 months. Preparation is when you are taking um, steps. So, what type of steps you need to quit? How hard is it going to be for you? This is where you are talking about your barriers, what type of barriers that are going to possibly come up for you. Action is you actually taking the steps that you prepared for and making that change happen. Maintenance is when you have stopped smoking and you're maintaining it for 6 or more months. So you're finally not thinking about it, you're not as motivated by the old behavior. Now you have replaced it with something more positive. And termination is when you're no longer tempted to lapse into old behaviors. So you're no longer thinking about smoking. You go to a party, there's people smoking, and you no longer want to do that. So this is the spiral model. So you're thinking about it, you're preparing for it, you're taking action. There could be a relapse of slipping back to a previous stage. Um, you might smoke again at a party for one day, but then you go back and you choose to start working on it again. So people very rarely just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like they just a lot of the times people do relapse and go back to first stage, maybe second stage. But you need to be patient with yourself and give credit where it's due and just kind of move on from that. So you need to monitor your behavior and see if what type of patterns occur. So what was the activity when you relapsed? Where was it? Maybe you were at a party where all of your friends smoke. What were you doing? Maybe you were very stressed out. And how did you feel at that time? So now going to our SMART goals. So SMART means specific. So what is your goal, target goal? Measurable, you need to make sure how are you going to measure that you're actually changing and there is a difference. Attainable, meaning that yes, you can. It's not that you're going to lose 100 pounds in a month. That's not attainable in a healthy way. And it also has to be realistic and time specific. So you need to make sure that there's ending time that you would like to finish the goal by, so that way you're working through it throughout the time. So you need to devise a plan of action, which you will do for your SMART goal assignment that is due this week. You need to um, modify your environments, control habits, reward yourself, involve the people around you, because it's much easier if somebody is keeping you accountable and plan for any challenges. So you need to make sure that your contract is very personal to you. You know what dates work best for you, what steps you are able to take. Maybe on the same, somebody's working on the same thing, but they're taking much bigger steps than you. And that is perfectly okay because it needs to make sure that it fits into your life. So this is uh, my 12-week marathon training plan for whenever I was in undergrad. As you can see, it's by weeks and it's by days. I'm doing different type of activities to make sure I'm not getting bored of just running 10 to 12 miles and making sure that I am consistent. I have some very easy days, some recovery days, so you need to make sure that it works for you. So next, let's test your knowledge. So what lifestyle factors are leading preventable causes of death for Americans? You don't have to write it down or anything like that. Just think about if you have retained any of the knowledge. If you have any questions, please email me. So the second one, do the terms health and wellness mean the same thing? And number three, does a person's genetic makeup determine whether he or she will develop certain diseases, such as breast cancer, regardless of what the person's health habits? So, what is due at the end of the week? We have SMART goals. Number one, as I have talked about it, please make sure that you have your wellness dimension and your physical dimension. I have seen that some of you have turned it in early, but you are missing one or the other. Please complete SMART book number one, which is correlated to this chapter. The link is under week 2, so you have to make sure that you have registered with McGraw Hill, and it will take you directly to your assignment. And then also, I will be assigning groups this week, so make sure that you have finished the discussion post. Otherwise, I'm just going to assign randomly. Our group one goes next week. This will just be presentation of your fitness instruction. And that is it. Have a great day.